Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Did you guys miss me? Well, at the very least, it's been a while since I actually recorded a video, so I figured it'd be fitting that the first video I record, again, quote-unquote, back, we'll see in what capacity. We're going to talk about the state of the game. And this video will reference also Legacy's video, which I think he made a wonderful video about current game economy, and I have seen a bit bigger discussions happening around that as well. But I think economy is only like 1 out of 5 different bigger issues currently happening in the game. But without a good game economy, we don't have a game, so that's why we're going to start with it. I'm not going to spend as much time as Lax did on it, because I do think he puts his points across there extremely well. There was nothing really you can kind of disagree with. But point being is, it's pointless to play the game. That is the end-all, be-all. It is absolutely pointless to try and place high in battlegrounds. It is absolutely pointless to try and place high in war. It is absolutely pointless to try and place high in AQ, and that goes down to Radiance. The fact of the matter is that a single $100 offer can offset more than you being exceptionally good player for a month or two. That's where we are at, because you are unable to earn any meaningful rewards in the game as it stands right now, be that Ascension or rank 5 materials. If we go to the store, we can take a look at Radiance. We can go to our premium currency. You can buy 12,000 fragments of tier 5 alpha. That's 12,000 fragments, which is what? It's like 1/5 of a catalyst? Like 20%, 20-some% of the catalyst? And you need 3 of those to do a rank 5. So if you play, quote-unquote, premium game modes at a competitive level, earning games premium currency, it would take you like nearly a year to do a rank 5 relying on this premium currency. It's clear that it's not premium currency. It's shit. It's trash. $100 can effectively get you a rank 5 during sales days. Last sales, you could get like 9 rank 5s for $500 or something like that. That would be years in playing the game. And that is also like, why I'm not playing the game as much. Because I realize that there's no point in getting to C5 in battlegrounds, because I'm going to get 50k more Radiance. It would be bad enough if I would be getting less of these tier 5 alpha catalyst fragments, but I'm not, because there are like 3-4 sources of Radiance, and I'm gonna get enough to max out the most important things anyways. I'm gonna get enough to max out my units, I'm gonna get enough to get the little dribs of tier 5 alpha catalyst, and then not pushing to C5, but ending somewhere in Mysterium. The only difference is that I get, I don't know, 1 tier 7 basic catalyst less a month or something like that, and it's just irrelevant. It just does not matter, because rank 4s in the game barely matter these days. So there's zero. And the same thing about war, because the only rewards that we have in war is Radiance. Only rewards that we have in AQ right now is Radiance, and that was always a danger with having unified currency as a premium endgame reward. As soon as the shop is outdated, or as soon as the currency, quote-unquote, is bad, everything in game is shit, and there is no point in playing the game in any meaningful level trying to earn the Radiance. It's just pointless, because every single bit of effort that you will put in over the span of several months will be offset by a single sale and a couple $100. Again, a good example here is, keep in mind that it's not like I haven't spent any money over the last 8 months in the game. Since rank 5 became a thing, I have spent a little bit of money, not much, but some. Not much by standards as to what I used to spend. And I currently have 6 rank 5s. I can do the 7th, so I would have 7 rank 5s. At the time July 4th sales hit, I had like 5 rank 5s. And you could buy 9. So all of my combined effort in this game over the course of 8 months, because that's when we started getting rank 5s, plus, a little bit of money like sigil and double tracks and, some bits and bobs in offers, a couple $100 probably. All of my combined effort in playing the game and spending a little bit of money amounted to about half of what one big sales day gave you in top end progression. That is abysmal. And that's why this currently is not a game anymore. It's an online shop. It's literally what it is. Anything you do in this game does not matter. If, for 8 months you can play the game, but then in one day, $400 or $500, doubles whatever you have earned in that. So that's where we are in the game economy. It has never been worse. I do think, Act 10 rewards are abysmal. I think Act 10 is like the low effort shit version of a story content. It's the most low effort shit version of story content we have had, because again, there's absolutely nothing new there, like super quick and easy. And again, in itself, I don't even hate it. I think it's a nifty little thing, but it reminds me more of a monthly quest or something of a monthly challenge rather than a story content. But rewards here as well, like you get like 12k tier 5 alpha frags, and yeah, obviously eventually there's going to be, the big rewards once all 4 are completed, but it's just crap. 15k for these. There's nothing anywhere in the game where you can earn meaningful rewards. You can only buy them, and that is the other big problem. We went from having 2 to 3 big sales a year many years ago. Then we went to having like 4 or 5 big sales. We had 4 basically. The big 4 was spring cleaning. We had July 4th, Cyber Weekend, Cyber whatever, and banquet event. Now we have a massive sale and a track every month, or multiple times a month. There's all these like chains and everything else, and that's how the game has changed. Every time you load up the game, now you get like pop-ups, you get everything, just buy. And it isn't just the fact that they are throwing infinity amount of offers. Like, I don't follow offers that much, but when I go to the store, there are so many different offers that I don't even follow what's happening. Like, what is what? You can scroll endlessly and you can see like, pay me money for something. And again, nobody's asking for come out to make this game for free or there not to be offers, but I will say that they are pumping out so many shit offers, and some of them are good, but many of them are shit. But either way, there's just so many offers that I don't even understand what they are selling me. Like, I Maiden Mother Crane exclusive event ticket. Fuck off. I don't know what that is. I don't want to know what that is. I know I'm not paying £15 for it, There's like 8 different daily and weekly bundles, and then there are like 4 different passes and shit like that. It's like, fuck off. Like, honestly, that's when they're selling so much crap that I don't even understand. Or I don't follow it all that much. What are they trying to sell me? And that's kind of goes to the point. There's like exclusive events now that you have to pay for. That's the only department at Kabam that seemingly is working overtime is the one that's pumping out new sales. And it's kind of disgusting. I don't know, it's quite repulsive. And it's not just me, because I'm not spending as much. I have spoken with quite a few like whales that are also just tired. They're just like, another sale, They had the whole Zola box where, Zola Ascension thing. I think that was like a very outrageous thing to try and sell. And again, I think when they are selling you so many things so often, it's, first of all, it's disorienting. Second of all, it creates that idea that, you can spend infinity amount of money on this and it will not be enough, right? And that's how they outpriced me. Because again, keep in mind, I used to spend several hundred on this game a month, and not like 200. You spend like 400 to 500, probably a month on this game, or close to that. Am I having at least like 300 a month? And I stopped. I gradually reduced that, and then I spent primarily, only on like monthly offers and events and the big sales days, and even then I kind of reduced. And the reason why that happened wasn't necessarily because, I didn't have any money at all to spend or anything like that. I did, go through some change in my life too, and I guess my priorities are changing. But the main reason why it happened, because whenever I spent money initially, I felt like I'm getting ahead, like I'm getting something, worthwhile, and I felt kind of good spending. But the more they sold me, and at one point I realized I can't buy all the offers that I would like, because initially that was the case. Whenever offer came, every kind of like 3 days or every week, when there was like a half decent offer that offered resources that I cared about, I could buy it, and I felt that I'm not missing out on anything else that they're selling because that wasn't a relevant item to me. And then I got to the point where I realized I can't afford to buy these offers, all of the ones they're offering, so I have to be a lot more selective. And then I realized that even if I buy these things, I'm still getting kind of like lapped, and I'm still falling behind. Even if I'm spending $300 a month, I'm still, massively behind, because, Kabam is offering me to spend $100 every day, basically, or every other day. And then the result of that was I kind of realized it doesn't matter how much I spend, it will never be enough, so why bother? And you could say that Kabam effectively just outpriced me out of the big sales days, because again, big sales days used to be $400 and done, and then they went to $500, and then they went to $600, and then they went to $800. And $800, like, it's ridiculous. Even $400 is ridiculous now that I look back at it. I certainly do regret quite a lot of money that I have spent on this game. Kind of wish I never did. But I guess thank you to Kabam for completely breaking that illusion of value by just blatantly ramping up the prices. Because when I was younger and I didn't have family, again, it felt kind of good to spend. Now, I can't force myself to buy the double track. A big part of the reason is because I don't think Kabam deserves my money at all anymore with all the things that I have done. But this will be the first double track that I have not bought. Because, again, all the good things in it, technically, quote unquote, would be worth it. But, number one, I don't want to give Kabam any of my money, or, as little as possible. And the second thing is Goblin's kind of shit champion. And we're going to get to the new champions being shit eventually, but, Goblin's kind of crap anyways. And, yeah, I just don't see a good reason to spend that money on that. So, I'm going to say it again. Playing this game, quote unquote, progression-wise, is meaningless. Any single thing that Kabam creates right now is pointless in the game. Like, be that Alliance Quest, be that Battlegrounds, be that Alliance War, all of that stuff, which is effectively the core of this game and which makes us love this game, is completely meaningless. You just kind of do it out of habit. But take it from somebody. I spent like a month without an Alliance just now, and it basically didn't matter. Because none of the radiance that I missed out amounted to anything. I didn't even miss out on the tier 5 Wolf fragments because I still got like enough radiance from towers or something. But spending a month without Alliance basically didn't matter because radiance basically doesn't matter. So I didn't, even fall behind my progression. Only reason why I did kind of fall behind the progression was because I didn't spend money on the game. So there you go. That is the first and the biggest thing that I'm going to say. Playing the game right now just doesn't matter in any kind of like Alliance competitive game mode. And even like, Act 10, 15k tier 5 alpha, that shit doesn't matter really, comparatively speaking, either. Or ultimately putting like this, all of the stuff that you can play for in a month, you can buy in a day for like $50 at most. You can buy like one offer for $50, and I'm sure that there's going to be like a tier 5 alpha somewhere in there, or half of tier 5 alpha, which is more than you can earn. So there you go. That's my opinion. First big problem with the game, and it is a bit. I don't understand why and how Kabam allowed it to happen, but they're fucking retarded for allowing this to happen. Because again, the more people realize that playing the game doesn't matter, you stop viewing it as a game and you start viewing it as something quite disgusting and sinister. Because you're not playing the game. The game is kind of like the side feature right now to the offers, and it should never get this bad. The second thing that I want to talk about, and this is also something that I realized when I kind of started playing a little bit less, and it is harder to notice when you spend, several hours a day in the game. But when, I had a little family trip, and in general, for a while, I played the game very little. And the first thing that I noticed is that if I spent an hour or 40 minutes a day in the game, then at least like 25 minutes went claiming random bullshit that, again, ultimately does not matter to me, like, at all. And that was like half of my playing time was just dealing with clutter, be that claiming all of these rewards. And again, here I haven't claimed any of these, or most of these I have left unclaimed for a couple of days, just to showcase like how many little pieces of shit you find in your rewards inbox. And you have to claim that, and then you need to make sure that none of your catalysts expire, and then you need to make sure that you have spent all of your Mysterium before you try to earn more, because Mysterium cap is ridiculously small. And then there's always ISO expiring that you need to, remember to sell for gold. And then there's like random items that are always kind of getting on your head, because for whatever reason, Kabam can't allow us to save revives at sufficient quantity, and every day you have to have like revives expiring and health potions expiring, which is just annoying for the most part. And then you need to this game has been operating for like 11 years. Like, can somebody tell me like why I have like a limit on tier 4 and tier 5 catalysts? Why can't I just stack them infinitely and use them whenever I feel like using them? Because again, tier 3, tier 4 catalysts, class catalysts, or tier 4 basics, or tier 5 basics, stuff like that, it is irrelevant in the game, especially now that there's like a Mysterium store where you can buy them in infinite amounts. Where I'm trying to get to is managing my account was more of my game experience than actually playing, And we're getting to a ridiculous proportion again, because on an average day, let's say in this day, I'm not gonna play Balganons or grind arena. I'm gonna do like my alliance quest. I'm gonna do daily quest, and whatever else there is. You're gonna spend 5 minutes fighting, 5-10 minutes, choosing your team or reading the notes or learning something if it's war. But you can spend 5-10 minutes fighting, and you can spend 30, 40, 50 minutes managing your account, reading, planning, ranking, selling, claiming, selectors and drops and all of that stuff. And therefore, again, because of all the clutter in the game and like 50 billion things in this game that are completely irrelevant and outdated and quote-unquote valueless in this game right now, like, tier 5 basic catalysts, tier 1 alpha catalysts, you're gonna spend way more time managing your account, which is boring, which really isn't fun. And again, because of that, you don't play the game. You just kind of maintain what you have built. And again, it kind of brings you back to that feeling that this isn't a game, but an online collection store. And most of your daily quote-unquote chores are kind of like maintaining your account. It would be similar to, I don't know, if you have a house, basically every day you have to trim the hedges, trim the bushes, dust and clean and stuff like that, rather than actually do something with the house or actually enjoy it. You're just kind of maintaining it, and it is a chore. It is not a source of joy. Like every single day, making sure that you have no random crap expiring. All of these things need to be claimed. You need to make sure that nothing kind of hits a random irrelevant cap. It's just not fun. It really isn't. Right. The third big thing that I do want to discuss is absolute lack of creativity. And this is something that I have spoken with on my streams increasingly more recently. But if you can notice, nothing in this game that Kabam does, or barely anything in this game that they do, is new or fresh. I'm gonna leave the current Realm Event thing aside, which I actually think is kind of decent. I don't think it's insanely amazing. I don't think it's awful, but I think it's decent. If you're gonna look at the special quests, last good fun, kind of like big quest that we got was like Wheel of Faith. That was like 18 months ago. Everything else, quote unquote, that has been endgame content since then, up until these Revenge of Legends quest things, has been a recycled something. If you take a look at the idea of crucibles to begin with, they are obviously just recycled bosses from story content. We have the Grandmaster's Gauntlet, which I think is the best piece of content they have just about ever made. Got a recycled version, the Ordeal. The last good, fun thing in the game was Karina Challenge Set, which is a recycled content by definition. And again, to be clear, I don't think there's inherently a bad thing when Kabam recycles stuff. I think it's clever, I think it's useful, I think it's, resource kind of like saving, wise management, that's fine. But it is not fine when there's nothing or barely anything new coming with it, which has been the case. We haven't received a big endgame piece of content like Necropolis in forever, and we haven't even received stuff like Wheel of Fate or anything like that in any meaningful amount of time. All of the things that you're seeing in the game that are new are regurgitated things from the past. We're going to take a look at Towers. Towers is the one new thing that they have made, but we're going to talk about Towers in a bit. We have Challenge Towers, which was kind of like more interesting version of Towers, which inherently I think is fine. But it's obvious that they effectively just repurposed their War Showcase and Saga Showcase and put it in Tower format. Ascension Tower, I guess, is, new version of 7-star shooting quest, which again is fine, whatever. But we have the Colosseums, Apex Colosseum, which again is rehashed version of Eternity of Pain, and most of the fights there initially were even, copies of Eternity of Pain fights. And yeah, so I Wheel of Fate is the last memorable new quest that, was reasonably hard. And that was nearly 2 years ago. And beyond the lack of creativity, we need to move towards just new content. In my opinion, again, this is you can view whichever piece of content however you want. In my opinion, it's mid at best. Overall quite shit. And we're going to talk about Towers as a game, or the class Towers, being one of the grindiest things to grind out initially. I think Kabam first of all made a big mistake by, not pushing players higher than they started, where they could possibly get to, you know what I mean? Based on like your prestige and account size, or however they decided how far you are able to get to. Kabam absolutely should have like added 15 to 20 towers to everybody's starting point, in my opinion. But besides that, if you analyze towers as a game mode, it's the most shit game mode ever. The fights there are fundamentally made to be a formality. And that's why I'm saying it's shit game mode. Because the fights are easier than arena fights. Why? Because defenders have no masteries, really. Because they don't have a level 3. So you can push them to level 3s. And because they took all the hard defenders out there. So arena is objectively harder to play than this. Arena fights are objectively harder. So why did, obviously, Kabam made these fights so simple to a point that they are pure formality? They did it because it is not a game mode. It is your roster check. The difference between towers and collections is basically non-existent. It's the same thing. It just checks how big your account is and does nothing else. If, collections check, your captains and whatnot, then here this checks how many, champions you have ranked up of each class and whether you have ranked up the nukes. And I guess why when you have Regal Masters, because it has nothing to do with your skill. Let's start with that. It has nothing to do with your skill, because again, these are the easiest fights Kabam can possibly make. And it's just, if you can do the fight, you can do the fight. If you can't do the fight, you can't do the fight. And the only reason why you could or couldn't do the fight is whether you have a high enough challenger rating champion, aka whether you have spent enough. So that's basically not a game mode, in my opinion, the class towers. It is just a roster check. So needless to say, I'm not a big fan of that. Then we can talk about poker as a side quest. And again, I kind of find it disgusting that Kabam keeps trying to bring it back. And I'm going to explain to you why I have such a big issue with poker. Besides me not, enjoying or finding it fun, my big issue with poker is the fact that MCOC part of it makes that game mode actively worse. If you didn't have to fight there in between every time you swap your cards out, the game mode would be faster, would flow better, and would be more enjoyable thing to do. Only thing that is like really bringing the poker, MCOC poker down is MCOC. And to me, that's kind of like fundamentally disagreeable thing to combine with the game. If playing the game makes the game mode worse, the game mode should have never existed in the game in the first place. And that's how I feel about, poker and Kabam bringing back the poker. Then we had Dance Dance Revolution type of things, and I don't remember, outside of a rehash of an old content, Kabam making something that's exciting. I think this legend thing is fine-ish. I personally don't find it, super rough, but it's kind of interesting. It's fine. Last kind of like good thing in the game was Karina challenges, which again is a rehash of the older things. But again, first of all, they do them so rarely. They could make so many people so much more happy if they did Karina challenges like every month. And, they could, but they don't. And I think that's just about the best thing that they can do, because they clearly can't generate any new meaningful, fun quests, challenges, interesting things. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna go here with lack of creativity and mid as fuck content, which is also kind of depressing. Then we have Ascension and top 30 prestige. I guess we're gonna talk more specifically about Ascension, and to me, these two things were what kind of destroyed my competitive desire. And then I realized that it was pointless to play the game anyways, and then I just started playing a lot less. But besides the hyper monetization and non-existent meaningful rewards in endgame contents, Ascension has not been a great start. And honestly, like, here, flat out, I just prefer 8 stars, man. Like, there's no other way to put this. I think 8 stars would get much better in the game, because then you could rank up your 7 stars if you want to. Whatever 8 stars you get, again, you'd have like a different copy of that champion, and at least that would be like a cycle that we're kind of familiar and used to with. Because number one here, we are again at a position where you don't want to rank up your champions that you want to play with, because then it's ended, and Kabam's pushing Ascension super hard. Like in towers, it matters a lot if you want progress there. In a ton, like we had Ascension towers, there's like a ton of new content and events for champions that are only ascended. Kabam is pushing that might mechanic more and more, in battlegrounds as well now, where you start with half of your might meter or something like that. And you can see that Kabam is kind of heavily pushing the Ascension on you, and it's kind of making you feel like you need to have all the Ascended champions. And right now, it feels bad to even think about ranking unascended champions. At the same time, they're only offering us to ascend shit champions unless you cough off a shit ton of money. And like right now here, we can see that out of all of the champions I have ascended, there are like 5 that I like. And it's not like I like them the most in the game. They're like, what, 5. And that Ascension itself kind of created a problem where your rank 4s are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th strongest version of a champion that you can have in a game. Because you can have rank 4 Ascended, rank 4 A2, rank 5 A1, rank 5 A2. So a standard rank 4 champion now is like the 5th strongest version of the champion that you can possibly have in the game. Rank 5 champion without Ascensions is like 4th strongest version of that champion that you can have in a game. Because rank 4 A2 champion is higher up there. And then you have rank 5 A1 and rank 5 A2. So pure rank 5 champion is effectively 4th strongest version that you would be settling for. So therefore, a pure rank 5 champion feels kind of a wasted potential because rank 4 A2 is stronger, right? And so it just feels bad to rank up a champion that's not ascended. Then there is the fact that unless you are super wealthy, you will only get to rank up shit champions because you can't rank up the new champions that come out. That gives you a side effect of not giving a shit about new champions. And again, I don't know how it is for everybody, but for me personally, I have never been so disinterested in whatever champions Kabam is releasing because I realized that, let's take Ruby, for example. I really liked her. I was kind of interested in her. And I know that, when I'm going to eventually got her in Titan Crystal, I'm not taking her past rank 4 because she's, not ascended. Again, at rank 4, she's like the 5th strongest power level in the game. Therefore, I will not really use her all that much. I will be looking towards ascended champions or rank 5 and ascended champions. And be that Battlegrounds, be that anywhere else. I barely even use her, even if I like her. And then when we are talking about champions like, I don't know, Wave or Fill of Veil or whatever they're called, I just could not care less. If I ascend them, eventually I'm going to kind of look into them and consider them. But until I do, I can't really be bothered. And that, for the first time ever, now creates a situation in the game where people are playing with effectively 2 different sets of champions. Because if you are a whale, you're going to have obviously way more options and choices, but you're also going to be ranking up, enjoying, and using the new champions that you have gotten ascended. And if you're not a whale, you're going to be ranking up and playing with mid as fuck champions that Kabam is allowing you to ascend. And again, when I say mid as fuck, it's not necessarily going to be that bad because, again, every champion has their fans, like, Danny Moonstars or Mojos or Chavez's and things like that. They're obviously currently not the top of the top champions, and they're definitely not the champions that, you would want to rank up initially. For instance, so many people right now have ranked up Danny Moonstar over Jean Grey or Onslaught or Sinister to whatever ranks, and that's purely because of Ascension. And to me, it feels bad. It is clear that Kabam did not have a good plan to introduce Ascension. It is clear that Ascension is extremely divisive based on the amount you spend, because that is primary way how Kabam makes ascendable champions available. Also, the fact that there is no way for a regular person to get new champions ascended without spending a ton of money, it creates kind of like a depressing feeling across the game, I'd say. And top 30 prestige, I understand that not everybody is going to care about prestige, but top 30 prestige combined with Ascension effectively is what killed hardcore try-hard players, I believe. Because again, previously, if you didn't spend a ton, but you spent some, but were very good at the game, for multi-tier reasons, you could kind of exist in higher tier alliances and earn higher tier rewards. Like, if you spend a couple $100, but were very good, you had top 5 prestige to worry about, which was fun because you can kind of sacrifice 5 rank ups for prestige and be, somewhat there. And the rewards were better that you could earn before opposed to what you can buy. And this goes back to point number 1, where game economy is complete shit. And even with the rewards being better, things that you earned mattered more, and you could pull some good champions without spending a ton of money, and you could actually use those champions. But like right now, for instance, you can open 100 Titan Crystals, and it's not going to matter because none of those champions are ascended, so you can't really rank them up to improve your prestige 30, so you end up stuck ranking up, whatever champions you Howard the Ducks and whatnot. And Ascension combined with lack of in-game rewards compared to purchasable offers. And Ascension, top 30 prestige, lack of earnable rewards completely have destroyed the hardcore competitive side of the players. And that is also kind of like primary audience of my channel, generally speaking. And therefore, especially for that group, it seems depressing. And this could be a deliberate choice by Kabam to quote-unquote sacrifice that group of players. Because ultimately, if you look at it, I think the game is currently fine for super casual players. You log in, there's like a ton of things that pop up, ton of little rewards that you can earn, and you can, you have a ton of quests to play. And, if you're not Elder, let's put it like that, there's a ton of things for you to do it in game. And if you're a whale, there's infinite amount of monies that you can spend if you choose to do so, and you can buy infinite amount of advantage in the game. And Kabam is even, creating game modes specifically for whale-like towers, which is, again, the most whale game mode that I have ever... You couldn't pay me enough money in the world to design a game mode specifically for whales. Make fights so easy that anybody could, win that because there is zero skill involved, and make it 100% reliable on how much you whale. That is towers. Like right now, I can't figure out a game mode that would be more custom made for whales. And so I think that's where we are. I think Kabam's catering the whales hardcore, and I think the game is fine for super casual players. I think everybody else is just kind of fucked. I think everybody else is just kind of fucked. And that's why, like, I'll be brutally honest here. Like, DCKO is coming out. I'm kind of interested in that game because as I discussed these things in my stream, I realized that just about everything that I like about MCOC is coming from many years ago, when monetization wasn't as hardcore, when Act 6 was like a very hard story content, when Grandmaster's Gauntlet came out, when there weren't like 350 pointless champions. Like, because in this game we have like 350 champions, and like 50 of them matter at any given time. 300 of them are just shit. And many of the new champions are shit. That's something that I didn't even discuss. I kind of mentioned that I just don't care about new champions, and main thing is Ascension, but the second main thing is they're just kind of shit. Kabam has made like 3 good champions this year. It's like Ruby, Tarantula, and Agatha. But I barely know what Tarantula and Agatha does for now, because I guess I'll learn when I get them. But there we go. So I just think the game's kind of bloated. I think Kabam is stuck in terms of creativity. I don't think they have created or designed anything exciting or challenging in quite a while. I think the game's quite cluttered right now. And if DCKO can come out to be something similar to what MCOC used to be, I would 1,000,000% prefer that. Because again, the bloat, all of these excess things, 50 million currencies, like 80 things to claim, 100 useless champions in a game, all of that is repellent to me. Again, if I would have an MCOC time machine, I would rewind the time 5 years, 6 years, and I'd enjoy that version of MCOC much more than I do now. And then obviously bring in Valorant or something, and that's fine. Because again, there's just so much shit in this game that it feels, again, not like a game anymore. And again, if DCKO can be what MCOC used to be initially, I'd much rather play that game. At the same time, obviously, time will tell. I signed up for early access there. Hopefully, and again, I do look at this in a couple different ways. If DCKO can kind of get their shit together, and as a direct result of DCKO existing, maybe Kabam makes their game better, I think that's a good result, because ultimately I do like Meaningless of Champions, but I do think Meaningless of Champions and people working there have lost their way. I do think they are primarily looking at this game like they are looking at business reports. They're looking at data and statistics, and every little player's spending habit and engagement metrics and shit like that. And I don't think they even give a shit about making a fun game. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're eliminating player choice. They are forcing us to play the game they want us to play it. They're, telling us exactly which champions we can ascend for what content and things like that. And I fucking hate all of that. Like, none of that is fun. Again, MCOC used to be fun before it became all about data, spreadsheets, engagement metrics, 50,000 offers, and so on, so on, so on. So, again, if DCKO can be what Meaningless of Champions used to be, I have hopes for that game. If not, no harm done. But that's where I am right now with the game. I am, still streaming daily because I care about the community. But this is going to be the closing message. And I guess if you have made it this far in the video, you can leave a comment with this line in particular. The opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. And I think that's what a lot of people kind of misunderstood about me. I love this game so much for so long that Kabam making shit decisions got me mad. I got mad and I hated those decisions because I loved this game. And I cared for it a lot. And I said a lot of harsh things. And I got emotional. And I ranted a lot. And we all know the story for now. Because I cared about this game that much and I wanted this game to succeed. At this point, I don't. I kind of don't give a shit. I give a shit about people watching me. I give a shit on it's like, again, something to do type thing. Maybe a little bit of a shit is still given. But I'm fast running out of shits to give about Meaningless of Champions. And I don't think I'm alone. And I think Kabam has only themselves to blame. Genuinely think Kabam has only themselves to blame. So let me know what you think. And I'll see you soon. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next one. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the next